Rise Above Poverty has been a godsend for the kids of the Syracuse City School District and providing essentials for them needed to get through the tough winters. However, for Sarge, Tyson, and Miss Mary, this is just one of the few godly things that make this barbershop such a special place.
And him having been in poverty, Rise Above Poverty, him having been in poverty, I can think about where he came from. And what he had to go through, you know, for people to treat other people in a way that's so degrading because of who they think they are is hard.
Here, on the corner of Chestnut and Adventure Place in Rochester, sits the Strong National Museum of Play. Recently, the museum got a new exhibit that's already very popular, the Barbie You Can Be Anything experience. Having only been here for 3 weeks, it has parents and kids alike buzzing. With the popularity of the Barbie movie in the last year, I think Barbie's really sort of risen back up into the top of the conversation. That's Shane Reinwald, Senior Director of Public Relations here at the Strong Museum. He's had a first-hand view of the effect that the exhibit has already had on the children of Rochester. And there are probably only a handful of toys that you could look at that have had the impact that Barbie has had on the toy world. Here, you can learn the stories of female pioneers such as jazz musician Ella Fitzgerald, Olympic gold medalist Lori Hernandez, and aviator Amelia Earhart. You see a lot of smiles on the kids' faces as they go into it. But more importantly than that, it's the opportunity that the exhibit affords for the kids to go and essentially test out different career opportunities. So Barbie has been the president, she's been a doctor, she's been a chef, she's been a pilot. So there are different sections where kids, if you're creative, if you're more of a leader, that you can kind of go off into those zones. This is John Lewis, Rochester native and father to Mozzie, that 3-year-old with the heartwarming smile you just saw. He's not letting gender stereotypes get in the way of Mozzie's growth.
You have to let go of those kinds of ideas because the child's going to grow in such a unique and wonderful way if they don't have those kind of boundaries.
For parents and children alike, the Barbie exhibit is a chance to find inspiration and perhaps learn a new thing or two about living out your dreams. While many would consider the exhibit purely just for girls, for a kid like Mozzie, and perhaps myself, maybe we can learn a new thing or two. For a community that can sometimes be short on hope, this is the perfect light to bring to Rochester's youth. Josh Crawford, NCC News. Within the Syracuse metro area, the debate on educational spending is heating up. A recent Syracuse.com report reveals a wide disparity in the amount spent per pupil across the metro's 300-plus schools. I spoke with a variety of parents across the metro area to get their perspective on their educational journey, the journey for their children, and how they feel their children's schools have either hurt or helped. The numbers tell a story of inequality and challenge. School size and location, whether rural or city-based, adds variable in context to the rankings, but there is opportunity for community outreach and effort regardless. Even for Trey Waluski, lifelong CNY resident and father of 2 graduates from Auburn School District, there was shock in finding out about the purported underfunding for Auburn High, the biggest high school in the district.
It's kind of shocking, you know what I mean?
Parents and educators alike, such as Mike Waters, parent and adjunct professor at SU, are calling for a closer look at how funds are allocated and the direct impact on student success.
What would be really interesting to me is, like, what's your average teacher salary? You get quality teachers in there, you retain teachers, you know, that would be really revealing.
Others, like Taylor Emmy, a single parent and an Auburn area social worker, feel that taking matters into their own hands is the only way to guarantee success.
You need to stay involved. Like, I'm one of those moms. The teacher might hate hearing from me, but I'm going to stay involved, and I want to know what's going on with their schoolwork, how they act in school, all of that. I think parents need to be more involved.
Josh Crawford spoke with young professionals here in Syracuse to dive headfirst into the hidden battles that they face.
From mental health strains to financial pressures, this demographic grapples with unique challenges. Josh joins us live with their stories.
Thanks, guys. Yes, different areas have a different amount of resources to give to young professionals in the different circumstances that we're in right now. Like you mentioned, entering to that workforce. Now, some of my story does focus on issues specific to Black young professionals, but a lot of the issues that you see within this story are evergreen. So, if you want to learn something about our young professionals, some of the struggles they go through, tune in. Meet Jacqueline Levy, a 24-year-old mental health therapist and elementary school counselor. Despite her expertise, she's had to work through her own issues, and she was transparent with me about her personal struggles with mental health, transitioning to upstate New York as a lifelong Floridian.
I was born in Florida, did my 4 years of college in Florida, and then came up here. No family, no friends, not knowing, never visiting before, just fully transitioning from bachelor student to master student in a completely different place than I was used to.
Financial stressors loom large, affecting mental health. Tiara Johnson is very familiar with the concept. An SU PhD student originally from Atlanta, her novel, titled Living with 20/20 Vision, The Mental Health Awakening in the Black Community, was featured with the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, and WebMD recently interviewed her to speak about her novel. She talked about the interconnectivity with the two concepts.
That's such a great question because I don't think a lot of people realize just how much financial burden and uncertainty is linked to mental health trauma, especially for us young people, because we're trying to figure it out, right? We're in this weird stage.
Tiara's insights bridge both lived, real-world experience and the scholastic existence of students. But that doesn't even mean the resources are necessarily there for young professionals to put that insight into practice. Anna Jones, a 27-year-old SU PhD candidate from North Carolina, graduated from North Carolina Central at just 20 years old. She worked as a data entry specialist afterward, getting some corporate America experience before being able to drink legally. She's now at SU, getting a PhD in political science, but her support from the university has been minimal in terms of sustaining her mental and financial health.
The university does not pay their graduate students enough. Grad students have unionized at this point, so there is a raise coming. With the university, I make less than $23,000 a year, which is very close to the poverty line.
So like you heard Anna say, all three of the young professionals I spoke to were, stood on business in terms of making sure that residents and family members were, to make them aware of resources that potentially could be useful for them and all young professionals. Now, obviously I'm biased as a young professional myself, but with the age of social media and technological advancement, it could potentially be a very rewarding demographic and group of people if invested in properly. Josh Crawford, NCC News. Expected to increase Syracuse's population in 2025, both Lawson and Hogan want to ensure housing native Syracuse residents remains the priority.
I don't anticipate this happening, but if Micron pulled out of their deal, never showed up here, this problem would still exist and would need to be addressed.
Now, Council Hogan told me that over 7,000 people, including 1,000 kids, face housing insecurity issues in Syracuse every single night. City officials are working to rectify this issue. With the CZB study that they had outsourced, there was outlines a 1-year, 2-step process to get the housing market back to a formidable place, as well as the creation of the Syracuse Housing Trust Fund, also backed by Hogan, which provides equity and funding to non-normative members. With Syracuse set to be as big as it's been in half a century, there's hope on the horizon for an affordable and plentiful housing market. Josh Crawford, NCC News.